You're now listening to the Garage Guys Fantasy Sports Podcast.
Welcome to episode 176 of the Garage Guys Fantasy Sports Podcast, brought to you by Drip Drop. Not that, but Drip Drop. And Drip Drop RS was invented to treat dehydration in the most challenging circumstances. It's used by doctors, created by doctors, also used by military members, firefighters, athletes, the Garage Guys, the Garage Fam. If you've listened to the show by now, you've heard me say this a million times. So it's time to use promo code GarageGuys20 at dripdrop.com. Make it happen. And get the drip. I'm thinking about starting a new catchphrase. It's a secret catchphrase, Drew, for Drip Drop.
What is it?
I'm gonna tell you about it off air. Because it's gonna come out of nowhere. And people are gonna be like, whoa, why I never think about this. You look different tonight. Oh, I do? Yeah. I was, I realized that the hippie look, when I decided to grow my hair out really long. I just poured a ton of Miracle Grow on my head, and it got really long, so I had to go cut it off. And the basketball jerseys in the washing machine. They got these guys that are like supposedly like toting guns around wearing Hawaiian shirts, and I didn't want to be affiliated with those guys, so I decided I'm bringing stripes back. So down the middle, I'm going to get bowling shoes tomorrow, and I'm gonna be a professional bowler that likes NASCAR.
You really do like a professional bowler.
I've been told by like 3 people already on Instagram. So it's I don't know. Like I thought that it was stripe season. I haven't seen these shirts since like the early 2000s, or like since Charlie Sheen was relevant. So I was like, but even the Sheenster, even he wore like the one single stripes. Like I think that's more like a bowling thing. This is more like Leonardo DiCaprio and Romeo and Juliet style, like 98, 99. Like, and that could even be more in the future than that movie came out. But we're bringing it back. Stripes are coming back. It's time for you to go find some stripes. You got, I see right there, you got the horizontals. So I'm rocking the verticals.
Horizontal and vertical, boy.
That's it. That's where we are. We're just constantly confusing you with our stripes. It's like the end of that one movie, Interstellar, with Matthew McConaughey, where he's in that room where there's vertical and horizontal stripes, and it's like, okay, so this whole podcast is canceled. Drew's going to watch Interstellar.
Is that good? I've heard it's
that good. No, it's that good. If you don't,
Is it Sandra Bullock?
No, redheaded chick. I can't think of her name. But if you don't watch it, you're doing yourself an injustice. And if you don't at least have one single almost tear come out of your eye, even if you sneeze and get like a little tear, then I don't know how you can go to sleep, because it's like there's one moment in that movie that just will tear you apart inside.
Is it Amy Adams?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
Maybe, don't know. Red-haired girl. That's it. If you're Googling it right now, then you know the answer.
Yeah,
all right.
Good name.
We're doing it.
Yep.
We're Googling.
No.
It's her. No?
This year's Interstellar, this year Amy Adams sci-fi jam more than – no, I don't think so.
All right. Well, she's a girl. She's got red hair, and she acts good.
IMDb. I'm sorry. I'm going down this path.
Here we
Entertain
go.
the people.
Can't break it. Can't break it.
All right, here we go. Anne
Yes.
Hathaway, Jessica Chastain. Those are the two. It's Matthew McConaughey, Anne Hathaway, and Jessica Chastain are the 3 biggest people in the movie. There you go.
All right. It's settled. We figured it out. Interstellar, garage flicks of the week. Haven't had one of those in a while. Go watch it. There was something Interstellar that did happen, though. If we're going to talk about things that are stellar, you bagged attorney again for like, what is it, like the 4th time this season?
I think that's 3 on the season. 4.
Little chef special.
Yeah. We should pull it up for the people.
Pull it up for them boys and girls.
And you didn't even see it until the next day. It was like an extra surprise for you.
I was off Twitter. Like, I just got off Twitter and I went and banged drums for a few hours, and I woke up and I was like, yo, this is happening. Okay, here we go. Everyone knows we use Zoom now.
What are you seeing right now?
I am seeing Diener 23, 3,125 bones.
Okay. I thought I was on my other screen, which wouldn't have been good. So I had to make sure we're on the right screen here.
Gotta hide those links. Okay, I'm chopping away at a snowball right now, guys. So pay me no mind.
Yeah. Hey, keep chopping. One of my best friends told me to keep chopping at life. Instead of keep grinding, I want you to say keep chopping.
Am I a Braves fan now?
Keep chopping. Oh, that is their slogan.
Yeah. Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, Alex Bowman, Eric Jones, Eric Almirola, and Corey LaJoie. What a beautiful
the big one,
sight.
right?
That's the big boy.
Even though
that was the big move.
That's the thing. I mean, you didn't need your punt play to score a ton of points. I mean, he only finished 21st, and I think he started like 23rd, 24th.
Right.
He didn't score a ton, but point being, the reason I won this was not having most of these people were pretty chalky, obviously, by the ownership percentages here. I was really, really overweight on Bowman. I had 65% Bowman, and he was 33% owned. Hamlin, I was about 45% on him, so I was a little bit over the field. Me and you obviously were high on Harvick, as usual. I'm probably going to be high on him again this week.
Absolutely.
And then Jones. Jones finally paid us back. I know you put a tweet out about that.
The Jones boy. He didn't fail us. But, yeah, that Eric Almirola, though, man, just after what he had did and what he was able to accomplish, the day before, we knew that he had the car and overcompensated. So him being 47% owned was really no surprise. Finishing in 5th. Yeah. That's the shocker, the Bacon Man. The Bacon Man is there's something going on with the Bacon Man.
Yeah, is that him or is that a SHR? Or I guess we got to give him credit where credit's due. So
we do have to give him the credit there. I think that's more SHR though. I think he said it himself at Pocono. I think he was talking that mess, letting him know what was going down. But and then of course Dennis Hamlin, old Dennis.
We should start doing every now and then, just doing like a little lineup review and actually going deep into the thoughts behind like the picks and all that. But maybe not tonight. But not much went wrong here, so you don't have much to critique. You know what I mean? So like if we had like a lineup where we had one or two misses, we could review and share that with people.
For sure, I do like this though. I think this is the first screen share we've ever done on the GGFS podcast.
Hey, monumental episode.
It is, yeah.
I needed this cash, man, though. We had 2 or 3 rough weeks in a row. There were Dega and what was the other one? Where did we watch rain? What race was at Randy's?
Miami, Homestead. Oof.
Yeah, that was rough.
Homestead was a rough time. I think it was just Blaney and Hamlin were just the two guys that we just didn't think that were going to be as spectacular as they were. But I think that we figured out that it's a championship year on the horizon for Hamlin, and Blaney's definitely coming into his own big time.
Yeah, I agree. What was I going to tell you? I was pissed at myself because I had plenty of entries in the main $15 tournament, and I didn't put this one in there, and it won $13,000 over there. So
the Jones boy.
This whole lineup right here exactly won the big tournament, and I didn't enter it in the big one. I entered it in the $5. This is a $5 tournament.
It's a $5 footlong right there.
There's a $5 footlong, but of course, you know me, man. Like you've seen me now to know, like even I don't even like get too up or down over when I have a big win or big loss. So like right when I saw my winner here, most people probably celebrate. What did I do? I went over there and found it in the main tournament that I had a bunch of lineups in. I went over there and found it immediately, and I was scrolling up to the very top, and there it was, the same lineup, and I'm just never satisfied.
Were there tiers? That's the question. Were there tiers?
Were there tiers?
Not T-I-E-R-S. Were there T-E-A-R-S?
Oh, no. I mean, I just was like
$3,000 is good, but I mean, I would probably still be sad knowing that this could have hit in that big boy. I
definitely was upset, but I also said to myself, this is typical in how it goes for me. Like I wouldn't be mad if I didn't enter the tournament to begin with. Like, I don't think you're not allowed to say, oh, if I would have entered this over there, I would have wanted way more money, and I'm pissed about it. But if you entered a bunch of lineups like I did over there in that tournament, then you get to say that. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. 100%. I guess that's why, like, I've been sticking more to just like doing my 20s lately. Been hitting about 20 lineups, and like I just will literally go to every contest that I can possibly, and just like ring them out, because I don't want to have to experience that if when this time comes for me this season. I just don't want to know. Like, I'd rather just know that, like, hey, I didn't have any lineups in that contest, so can't be mad, can't be sad.
Right. Right. You don't want to have the potential to have like your 25-cent lineup win, but then all your $10 ones lose. That's got to be the worst. So
absolutely. But still, nonetheless, an amazing feat. The comeback is real. It has started. So amazing.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It's been a great year for tournaments for me. So I'm hoping to keep it up. And I know you're real close to hitting one yourself. So.
We're getting there, man. Closest I had, short tracks to me have been like really good to me. Like Martinsville was close. If I could have just had like one more guy. But we do have Indy coming up this week, and we'll definitely be talking a little bit about Indy after our interview with Cole Pearn. Do it again.
Loved it.
Super excited about that. So, yeah, look, amazing times on the horizon. Big weekend, big 4th of July weekend. Stripes are in, horizontals and verticals. Whip them out. I might actually, dude, mustache is gone. I feel like a completely different person now that I'm just actually look. Something else is different.
I'm not used to it.
Something else is different. I don't have I look like I literally was like living in a dumpster, and now I like live in a beach house in Arizona.
It's like bandanas and tons of facial hair. Now it's short shorts and striped shirts.
The short shorts were always there. You just can never see me from the waist down.
Well, it was always skinny jeans for me when I saw you. You're always wearing skinny jeans.
It was also winter months.
I don't know. I never see you with shorts on, but maybe that's because you're doing a good job with the camera.
Maybe so.
I don't know.
Well, what about the jorts though? Never see me rock the jorts.
That's true.
Gotta love the jorts. Still a big jorts guy. I do. I'm gonna take you to buy. I told you I was gonna buy you that new half of the brain off of eBay that just will be able to, like, literally it's a terabyte. It's gonna be great. Things because you got the other side rocking and rolling. So we just give you the memory now. That's all we got to do. But yeah, big interview here. Let's go ahead and just get right into it. Super excited to have Cole on the show. So here he is himself, the man, Cole Pearn. All right, we now welcome on to the Garage Guys Fantasy Sports Podcast a very special guest, Mr. Cole Pearn, a.k.a. Pearn Dog. Can we call you Pearn Dog?
I don't know about that one.
You don't like that one? No, we're
I got a lot of nicknames. I got a lot of nicknames already.
What's your favorite one?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think you can have a favorite nickname. They just get it, appointed to you.
All right. Well, that'll be ours. We'll have to go with that one.
I feel like I can relate to him there.
Can't choose your own nickname.
Right. Yeah, I know. He's Drew's got his own his chef boy Ardeen.
Oh, nice.
He's always whipping up the winners in the kitchen. So it's good stuff.
Gotcha.
Do a little bit of the DFS and things like that. But man, it's a pleasure to have you on, dude. We have I've been out to the NASCAR tracks for a couple of years now. We work with Roto Baller and doing our thing with Garage Guys. So it's getting to kind of see your success with Martin Truex and what you've been able to bring to the table in NASCAR. What I really wanted to kind of get into here that I've never really heard a lot about or anything was kind of like where this all started for you. When was it that you realized that racing was it for you in your life?
My dad raced stock cars, and so as long as I can remember, I just sneak into the garage on Friday and Saturday nights. That's what we did as a family. So just grew up around it. That's all I knew. And we watched cup races or whatever on the weekend if we got it. at that time it was not as easy to watch a race as it is now. So yeah, it was just kind of there. And then my parents got me into go-kart racing when I was maybe 7 or 8, something like that. And then I'd race go-karts, super competitively, and then started racing cars when I turned 16. And then I raced cars till my early 20s. And then once I graduated university, I was working full-time, and just realized it wasn't sustainable to be driving, running my own race team, and working a full-time job. So just decided to pull the plug on all of it, and then moved to North Carolina and, pounded on some doors, and eventually got hired.
Yeah, it seems to be like the huge move. You did a lot in NASCAR too. That was from like 02 and 03.
Yeah, so we ran like bunch of NASCAR races here and there. Like our home track was kind of like a main kind of hub for NASCAR in those days. And then we did Kubota Tractors was like our big sponsor, and then they funded us to go run the national tour like for 2 years, which was good. It was probably way over our heads of what we were capable of doing, but I learned a lot, made a lot of mistakes, and definitely took some lumps, but it was good learning experience for sure.
Heck yeah, man. The engineer standpoint of it too, like you getting into that realm after you graduated, working for Kevin Harvick. That was something that was new to me that I learned that you actually worked for RCR. That was kind of like your first gig in NASCAR. Was Kevin as kind of like reserved as he was back then, or was he a little loose? Got any fun stories from that experience?
I think he's calmed down a lot over the years. I mean, Kevin was great. I mean, he's a bit of a dickhead, but I mean, everyone is when it's not going well, but when it's going well, and like, he's awesome, and his feedback is still like probably the best I've ever worked around. He just had an unbelievable ability to pick out things that were better or helping him, and things that weren't helping him. And he's just continued to get better. I think he's got a really, as he kind of has matured, and I think he says that too, like he really has worked hard at it and continues to work hard. And that's why he's, one of the best for sure. He was a pretty unreal talent. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And going from 07, I know that there was a lot of changes. Like the Furniture Row deal started in 2010. So when you were there, it was kind of like a short stint, and then going to JDD Daughtery. So I mean, you've kind of bounced around before you like got right back in with Furniture Row. And out of working with all three of those, I mean, obviously Furniture Row was the one that stuck with you. What was different at Furniture Row about working for these other teams that kind of made you want to stay and hunker down and build a career there for yourself?
Yeah, I think it's just a tight family. I mean, the first go around at Furniture Row was going well, but there was some differences at times, and I didn't really, we didn't always agree on the direction we were going, or I didn't anyways, and kind of a lot of headbutting and stuff. And then it came around the second time. And then the big thing for me was like getting to go with Todd Barrier back again. I got really fortunate enough to be paired with him when I was at RCR, and, he was a huge part of my career. I wouldn't have done anything, as well as I did without him, being a part of it. So, him going back out there when I went back out the second time was huge, because we just, we needed a guy like him. He fixed so many little things and just got so many things in order that, really allowed laid the groundwork for it to be successful, past that. So that was huge. And then, I mean, I loved living in Denver for sure. And North Carolina was never really my thing. And went back, that second time, and it was like, tried it and it didn't work. And then went the third time, only lasted a year, so I hadn't had a really good success rate in living there. But Colorado was awesome, and just Furniture Row was, I don't know, it was just because I saw it, I think, from when it was really, really crappy and bad, and always was kind of, on growing it was huge. And Regan Smith and I, we grew up racing go-karts together. So I'd known him since we were kids. That was kind of the first reason I went out there. in the first place. You know, between them signing a deal with RCR and then also Regan being there was kind of a cool deal. And then then we got Kurt, which was a big building year for the company because it was we ran really well that year, made the chase. You know, when they didn't let everybody in those days.
Right.
So it was, it was kind of more of a exclusive club to be in, and which was cool. And just, it was big. And then 14 sucked. The first year that Martin was there was a really bad year. But it was, I got a lot of job offers that year, got a lot of opportunities to, go crew chief other places and stuff. And it was a really cool opportunity to go get to interview and, kind of get an insight into how everyone else runs their programs and stuff like that. And then after doing that, I really realized that, I felt like we could right the ship, so to speak, in Denver, and then, not have to move and stay working with all the people that became really close friends with. And, that's what we did.
Right. Yeah, I know with being in Colorado, like the transition can be different because, like there's some people that will be in an area where, it's kind of like where the industry is and things like that. And so it's almost kind of like, would you like consider yourself like an outsider in the sport in a way?
Oh, you are. It was just so nice. I mean, to be able to fly back there and you kind of got away from it all. And, we just had this small little shop. It was nothing fancy. And you just went back and worked on race cars and just dug really hard. And, it was, I don't know. I think there was not a lot of turnover with key people. Like, a lot of the key people at Furniture Road never really left to go other places. No one was people are trying to poach here and there, but it's not like you can just quit and go down the street for another $50 a week or something like that. Everyone that's out there was committed to be out there. And that was just such a refreshing thing, compared to being in North Carolina. It was just, in North Carolina, everyone goes out for dinner because they worked, at some team together and 5 years ago and they're friends. Now they work for competitors. I don't know. It's just kind of a big cesspool in that way. So it was just really cool just to be able to get away from everyone. And, you go to the racetrack on the weekend just like everyone else. But, during the week, it was a totally different vibe.
Right. And I know a lot of people, like, especially like, after the 2019 season, like rolling out, like there was a lot of people talking about how like there was some of that, like that feel like where when Furniture Row shut down, like it's just basically that kind of like sums up some stuff for me too, kind of like looking at it like at a standpoint of you getting outside North Carolina, knowing that you'd have to kind of be there again. And in that, like, was that like a huge decision factor? I know it was mainly because of, the family and the kids, but did that have any part in it at all?
Yeah, but I think my time it was more being on the road, to be honest. I think, maybe if Furniture Row had still kept going or whatever, there would have been maybe it's more of a transition to be off the road and still live there. Maybe, but who knows? I think once it was, when we're in North Carolina, JGR was great. I mean, it was a good job and, super fortunate to have that opportunity, but it was just, it just wasn't us. I mean, and I think too, just being on the road, just, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like every year it just gets harder. And, I've been 12 years straight on the road. So it's not like you just did it over, for a couple of years and then got out. Right. It'd been a long time. And I think the one thing that was really hard for us, I didn't really foresee is, both my kids getting in school was really changed our lifestyle. And that could have happened in Colorado just as easily, or would have happened in Colorado just as easily. So, once they're in school 5 days a week, it's not like I got Thursday morning off. Great. You don't get, and right. It's not like during the week you're home and that, I mean, it's lucky to get home for supper time, maybe 2 days a week. So, and then being on the road, I don't know. I didn't see them and it was just kind of that no light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing. It's so just opted to make the change.
Right. And it's a grind too, man. Like I know it's got to be like then, and there's a lot of aspects of that, especially when you have kids in the mix because, and even now, so more importantly with how everything is in the world with everything going on. So a lot of people are thinking about homeschooling.
I think the travel schedule is pretty sweet right now for those guys. So all the one-day shows, it's a big difference. So I kind of got out at a weird time. I don't know. It's waited.
Right.
If they continue on this path.
What do you think
if they
about
continue
the
on this
practice
path, and all of a
qualify?
sudden the travel job's not near what it was. So maybe it's just bad luck timing on my part. That is what it is.
Right.
What do you think about Cole, the no practice, no qualifying stuff?
I think it cheapens it a bit. You know, I get it. I think it's awesome that's so critical to be able to have them racing. So there's no option. I think that's for sure what they had to do. You can't, you know, you're minimizing your exposure that way. It's just, I don't know. It's really smart. You know, I think it's enabled them to get back racing as quick as they did. But yeah, I wouldn't like it. From my standpoint, I think it's, you know, I don't know. I always like the 3-day weekends. I know they're long and the travel part of it's hard, but it's like even the 2-day shows are such a shit fight. And to be honest, I mean, you just have no time to think about it. You know, you could have one stupid little thing wrong and it's like, you know, all of a sudden you don't have a night to think about it and the light bulb, never a chance for the light bulb to go off to fix it, which could totally flip your weekend from being, you know, crappy to being really good. So now those guys don't have any opportunity from that standpoint. Like you make couple wrong assumptions on something and then all of a sudden you got a bad race and everyone's like, oh, what's wrong? And it's like, well, we screwed this one thing up and we didn't have a good day. So it's just
playing the
incredibly
lottery.
challenging. Yeah, it's you know, I think that's just why you see guys hit it really well. And, you know, somebody's going to hit it off the truck. I think it spreads the competition more, if anything, than brings it closer together.
Absolutely. So one thing I noticed big about like Martin, kind of looking at his record, I know in like 2019 when you guys were at JGR, it seems like the short tracks kind of clicked for him at that time. I know he went back to back with Richmond. He won at Martinsville. Was there a lot of work with you and him together? Or was it more just like his own thing, like on his part, or like what all went into like trying to really figure those tracks out for him and become a better short track racer?
Oh, I think it just came down to we actually closed them out. I mean, we had dominated Richmond for going back to 2016. I think, you know, we'd led the most laps there almost like 5 races in a row and not one. You know, something had always just happened. And we, in the process, just continue to get better at it. I think short track racing is really it's challenging, you know, because you go there and practice and you run, you know, 20 laps and yeah, you don't really know how you're going to be on a 100-lap run. So it just takes, you know, race to race is more what you adjust off of. And yeah, I think Richmond had been a really, really good track for us. Martin, we had really started to just continue to hone in on what was working well for us there and evolve it. And honestly, a lot of our setup that we swept probably both races with last year is not really different than what we had ran, you know, previous to that. I mean, definitely little things here and there, I think, to get better for sure. But I mean, for the most part, it had been a really good track for us. And then Martinsville it started kind of the same thing. We were never, maybe not as good there, but a lot of it was setup related and just taking, again, time, like just to evolve, like, you know, hey, we tried this last time and this didn't work. And, you know, then evolving on it. And then, you know, we had a really good run there in 18, you know, and almost won. You know, we got knocked out of the way there at the end, but that was a really good run. And we'd led a bunch of laps, I think, a couple of years before. And so it'd been coming. And then I think last year we sucked in the spring. We tried some different stuff in the spring that didn't work. And then it really clicked for us in the fall. Yeah, and then we had a win. And then
domination.
They went back. Yeah, it was huge. It was awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
We changed a lot going into that race, but it kind of clicked in a way for us. And then, you know, and I think they followed on that same kind of direction for this year. And then they won again. So definitely, yeah, it's a lot of little things. It's a lot of little things when it comes to short track. I guess it's the same one on the intermediates too, but definitely the short track, it's a fine combination to get it all right.
Absolutely. So like with you being in Canada, like being from Canada, just like looking at it, like obviously like you were, you know, one of the first the first Canadian crew chief in NASCAR to win a race. Are you like revered there, like Richard Petty, like in your country, like in Canada?
No.
dude.
Definitely in like the short track kind of world for sure. But just because I grew up in that, I mean, it's all the same people I grew up racing with, and so I mean, yeah, you're well known from that standpoint, and it's been huge. I mean, everyone on the Canadian racing side's been a big supporter and nothing but amazing to me, and I think that's that part's really cool for sure. Definitely always at races and stuff, you have Canadian fans. I think I don't know that everyone realizes how many Canadian NASCAR fans are. It's it's a huge sport. Huge sport here in Canada. Canada's just a small country, it's population in California spread out across
That's crazy. I didn't know
that. Yeah, it's just not a lot of people, and that's why cell phones are more expensive here. Got a lot of land to cover.
How much are you paying for a cell phone?
Oh, it's a lot more. It's, I don't know, yeah, because I had to have I don't know, maybe it's not that much more.
Who's your carrier, by the way?
I'm with TELUS now. Out west is pretty much TELUS. So.
It's always the names. It's the names that you never hear from. Like, we're so used to like just to synthesize like Verizon and AT&T.
No, I work with TELUS, Chase. That's why
you do. Well, look at you. Look at you, guy.
There you go.
I work for. You're probably your cell phone insurance is probably through our company, Assurian.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So if you have insurance, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's been Canada's been sweet. It's funny. It's just coming back. I've been back since Christmas time or whatever. So it's been an adjustment for sure. I lived almost all my adult life in the States. So, I grew up in Canada, but I haven't really been an adult in Canada till now. So.
So the whole front's different now.
Yeah, it's different, but we're getting more used to it again. I mean, I lived a third of my life in the United States. So it's a huge part of, a huge part of me. Both my kids were born there and they had never lived in Canada, so it's been a big change from that standpoint.
Nice. I did have to getting towards the end of the interview, kind of getting into a little bit of the looser questions. If you're looking back onto, your entire career in racing, has there ever been just like one of those nights or like one of those tracks that like you love the most and that you just have like probably one of your like favorite moments or stories that went down at that track? And probably Dega, maybe, I don't know, but it was probably the wildest time you've had on a weekend at a racetrack.
Oh, like partying or something like that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Probably my younger years, there was a lot of them.
Yeah.
No, I'd say, Fall Talladega is always my birthday, so that was a dangerous place to have your birthday.
Yeah.
I'd always get kind of drugged to the infield a little bit, but not really later in the years. I've kind of got to be an old man a bit. I don't know. I would say definitely after wins, like for sure. Like for me, the craziest partying time was Vegas. Like when we won the championship, that was the most fun by far.
You're in Miami. How did that night go?
No. Well, we never left the race. We actually never left the racetrack the night we won. I don't think we left the racetrack till 6 a.m, I think.
Wow.
So
that sounds like a party, though.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was sweet. I think we went back to the hotel and like maybe laid down for like 45 minutes or an hour or something like that, and then showered, and then we had to go back and go back to the airport and fly home to Denver. So that was a pretty hungover flight. Everyone was hurting. Long time in an airplane.
Yeah.
Gotta be when you're popping champagne. And that had to be huge too, man, because like you talking about like with Furniture Row and like taking the small team and like growing it back, because like, dude, you don't see that a lot, man. So I mean, like that's hella fucking respect for you on that front. I mean, it's
it was hard too, like with the way the format is right now. We had such a dominant year that year, and done so much, but if you don't win, it doesn't matter. So to have it all come down to one race and then actually be able to, pull it off was just crazy. It was cool, super cool feeling.
Absolutely, man.
It's way more fun winning than not winning by a large amount.
Absolutely. No, we feel that every week, man, because we do the fantasy NASCAR, DraftKings, we're betting and things like that. So we try to make sure we're getting all of our, followers and readers that type of information. So we want to win as much as possible as well on that front. So we know it's got to take, definitely you put a lot more prep in probably on the forefront, but we're always hoping that you guys in the box are tip top when we're making our stuff go down. But
it's so hard. I mean, you got to do a million things right, and then you got to have everything go your way at the same time. It's so hard to win.
Absolutely. I know Drew had some rapid fire questions for you.
Oh yeah, I've been quiet, so I saved mine. I knew Chase would have all the NASCAR questions, so I just got a few rapid fire questions, Cole, and you can just one word answer it. You don't have to answer it. It's very basic. I think you'll enjoy it. So I'm just going to start. I'm just going to say something. You can say it's going to be like a yes or no or a pick between two things.
All right.
Daytona or Dega?
Neither.
Jordan or LeBron?
Jordan.
Manning or Brady?
I'm Broncos fan, so I got to say Manning.
The Office or Parks and Rec?
Nah, never watched either.
Okay. Marvel movies or Star Wars movies?
Ooh, Star Wars.
Like it. Beer or bourbon?
Beer.
Do it yourself or delegate and manage?
Depends what it is.
I like it. That's how I am.
In the middle.
Yeah.
Favorite sport to watch on TV?
Outside of racing, hockey.
Okay, then favorite sport to attend in person? I'm assuming it's hockey.
Yeah, hockey.
Last one, blondes or brunettes? Be careful here.
Brunettes. My wife's a brunette.
There you go. You can never go wrong with that answer.
I felt like you probably don't get those series of questions very regularly. Everybody wants to hear about NASCAR, so I wanted to be a little different.
Yeah, no worries. That's good.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, Cole, dude, we thanks so much. Before we do let you go, there's been a rumor swirling around, and I want you to be able to either accept it or put it to bed right here. I saw a tweet that came out probably about 4 or 5 weeks ago. There was an account, and they were talking about you and about how, the whole situation went down after JGR. And they're saying that there was this conspiracy that you were leaving and you were going back to Canada because you were going to start working with Honda and plan a return to NASCAR.
No. I don't know why. If I was going to go back and give up my green card and buy a business in Canada, I don't know if I'd be doing it to come back a year later.
All right, so it's been put to bed. It's debunked. It's done.
Yeah.
Dude, Cole, thanks so much for being on the show, man. We appreciate it, and best of luck with the kiddos and being back in Canada. You're always welcome on anytime. We appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Have a good night.
You too. All right, that was Cole Pearn. Pearn Dog. He didn't really like that one, but I guess he's going to let us run with it. All right. But just at least he'll know that when we scream it, it'll be us. Yeah, we had to. Couldn't look back. But that interview was brought to you by Rotoballers NASCAR Premium Content. Go over to rotoballer.com. Use promo code GARAGE. Get 10% off. You're going to be able to see Chef Boy Drew Dean's rankings on Rotoballer, just like you saw the lineup earlier in this episode. You can get that type of information week to week. You can get my free article. You're going to be able to see value plays by Sean Engel and many more amazing articles. And you don't have to stop at NASCAR. This goes to football, basketball, baseball. Baseball season's coming back. Literally, we got it all at Rotoballer. Get over there. Use promo code GARAGE. Subscribe to some premium content today. Speaking of other sports, talked briefly about Cam coming to the Patriots on the last episode on 175. You weren't here, and I've got to get your takes on this whole situation as you being a Patriots fan. How are you feeling about Cameron Newton coming up north to be with old Bill? That's how you feel? All right.
No, sorry. I was about to ask, what did Jinsey have to say? I don't think she knows anything about football.
Absolutely nothing. Like, just mouth shut. Like, nothing. She's like, she only watches NASCAR. I told her, I'm like, we're going to have to talk to you a little bit about fantasy football. She don't want no part of it. No part of that shit. She's out. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we're getting to do the conversation then. So, man, for I guess I'll start here with the contract. Basically, it's a free contract except for incentives. So, like, their base salary, they're not paying him anything. I think the deal makes sense when you only have Brian Hoyer and Jarrett Stidham on there. But I think people kind of need to slow their brakes a little bit or, like, slow down. I mean, past 2-3 years, I don't know about you, Chase, but I feel like all I've read is he's either a underperforming QB or he's been playing injured. Has been the two things that since he's dropped off from his MVP form. And I mean, if the Patriots are getting MVP form or even close to that, then it's a bomb deal. But I don't know. I mean, it seems like he would have to have he's going to have to prove that he's a little bit more of the old Cam, and all the people saying out there on Twitter that, you know, his injury history really isn't that bad when you compare to other QBs. Well, okay. To me, that just means he has been sucking if he's not injured. So what's your thoughts?
Yeah, so for me, I mean, obviously it's good to see a quarterback, you know, like just the name itself, like get on a team. Like I couldn't think of a world where Cam wasn't rostered somewhere. So it's cool to see that. I question the fit of this, though, because thinking about Cam Newton and who he is, his personality, like meshing with Bill Belichick, it's going to be fun to see how that plays out, because either he's going to get there and like he's going to have to like either kind of change and like, I wouldn't say he's like not serious, because like even though how he dresses and things like that is, people can make up whatever assumptions they want, like me thinking he buys and shops at Cato's, but people are going to have to understand that there's one or two things that are going to happen. Either he's going to change or he's going to get cut. And that's basically it. As far as him playing, Stidham has seemed to be this guy. Like, I haven't done as much research on Stidham.
He's unproven.
Yeah, he's an unproven guy. I think that if Cam comes in there and he's, you know, back to old Cam Newton status, then that's a lot to say about his character, and that maybe there was something more going on in Carolina that we didn't know about. But it just seems like, yeah, obviously he's came out and said, you know, I'm injured. I'm not going to rush myself back. I'm going to do what I do. And I really feel like if he comes out there guns a-blazing and he's back to normal, then we have to ask ourselves, what really was going on in Carolina? What was really happening? What was really going on behind the scenes? So I hope the best for him. I know that he's been working out with Sanu. And, you know, obviously you get a little bit excited because you think about healthy Cam being paired with Sanu and Kilharry and Julian Edelman. And that's kind of an exciting deal, especially with James White in the backfield. I like that, you know, thinking about something like that, like how those two guys could work out. So it's kind of up in there and open. People are going to be high on him. People are going to probably be drafting him a little bit too high in their fantasy leagues this season. But other than that, I'm just going to kind of sit back and see how some things play out and wait till some tape comes out of him in New England.
Yeah, I think we both agree the deal they got him on, basically, it's like you don't have to pay him unless he hits his incentives. And I think we're definitely going to see Belichick play the not tell you who's starting card all the way to the end, where he's going to say, I'm going to put the best man to win football games. He's say the same thing over and over again. Whoever's the one that's going to lead us to victories, those type sayings. So I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. I also saw that if they cut him before the season starts, or if he's not on their team next year, then they get a third round comp pick in the next year's draft. So it's like, if it doesn't work out, you basically just get a third round pick, which the Patriots love picking up those third and fourth round picks. So. Absolutely.
And I mean, that could be the play too. The other thing that I think of, the other side of this is, does this put Deshaun Watson to bed going to New England?
Oh yeah, that was what the odds were, that he was like a overwhelming favorite, right?
Yeah.
I don't think it does, because the deal's a 1-year deal, so I don't think it puts it to bed. I think the rumors are, if things go south in New England, they're going to go to either Deshaun Watson or Trevor Lawrence and go through the draft if they have a crappy year. Yeah. I don't think the Patriots are capable.
That's unlike Bill too, though.
I agree.
Like going after like the star guy, the big guy, because everybody's waiting to see where Trevor's going to go. That's like the same thing with Burrow. You know, people were talking about that. I don't think that's Bill Belichick. You would have to bring a new coach in before you saw something like that happen. He prides himself on finding those guys that are hidden in the bush and leading them to glory.
Yeah, and can we really think the Patriots are – in order to get Lawrence, you'd have to, win like 3 games? Do we think that's really going to happen?
I don't think they're going to tank. It's gonna be a more competitive AFC East. I'm excited to see that. I'm really excited to see that, to see if it's going to be, you know, as much as I want to think that the Jets could do it, like, and they may come out and shock the world. Like, you have to believe right now that Buffalo is going to be that team. And I'm excited about that too, because I'm big on Josh Allen this season. We had a mock draft recently, and our mock drafts have started back up, guys, over on the Sleeper app. I pulled the trigger on Josh Allen in the first mock.
Nice.
I think I got him in like 10th or something like that.
Yeah.
So
that was one of our best calls last year. Not to get too far off track, but one of our best calls in my opinion. I know I was super high on Devin Singletary. I was high on Josh Allen, and I was high on John Brown, and all three of them had really good years. And I know you were we basically said that the Bills or Jets, one of them's going to break out and make the playoffs, and it ended up being the Bills. And the Bills should have won that playoff game too. So. Right.
And why should it be the Dolphins now that we're talking about these two teams? Like Fitzpatrick just comes and does what Fitzmagic does, and then you see Jordan Howard just happen to just go explosion town. And then Tua comes in and just like it all goes to victory, and Preston Williams and Devontae Parker are like them boys. So who knows, man? It's going to be fun to watch.
Who's the Dolphins' other running back, by the way? Not to put you on the spot.
You did, because I don't know. I'd be lying if I said it right now. Like I said,
I got you. I was surprised because when you do a first mock draft, there's always a few players you see and you kind of forgot about that acquisition.
Yeah.
It happens with me. Matt Breida is there, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, you're right. It is Breida. I remember seeing that now. So, it's Breida and Howard, and then obviously McKinnon is going to be coming back. People forget about Jerick McKinnon. Obviously, he's coming back in San Francisco behind Tevin Coleman. So that's going to be fun to watch. I think that McKinnon will be somebody slept on, but obviously all these analysts are going to come out of the wazoo. And don't forget about Jerick McKinnon. Just like everybody's stealing my thunder with Jonnu, man. It's aggravating, man. It's like where did I feel like one of those guys from the Indy music scene that like was on this band for so long, and then he went mainstream, and now it's just like, dang.
Yeah. It's I feel your pain on the Jonnu call, but you can always say you were there first. But are the 49ers going to be the new like Patriots running backs? Because everyone's, Raheem Mostert. The last 4 weeks of the season basically was the dude, and then in the playoffs he had some big games. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see them become like that Patriots where you never know if it's going to be Coleman or McKinnon or I think Mostert's going to be the guy though that starts out the season number one with Coleman right behind him. I don't know. So.
Yeah, you got to think so. Like I said, Shanahan is definitely probably going to be like the new age Belichick, if we're going to be honest. And I may be speaking too early with that, but obviously he looks like, the next guy that's going to be kind of like that model coach that people are going to look at just with the way he was able to do things. So I don't know. It's the three setback though. So it's the three.
Did we start at Cam? We ended up at 49ers.
Yep. This is what happens. It's football season.
Yeah.
This is what happens with me and Drew during football season, guys. I'm telling you. So all you guys that are watching this for NASCAR, just get ready because there is a lot more to come. We're probably going to be going back to 1.5 to 2 hour episodes before long.
For sure.
That's how it goes. But
we've had a few NASCAR go that long, though.
Yeah, we have. And speaking of that, we do got to get into a little bit. Obviously, shifting gears into NASCAR, no pun intended. We're going to have the race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway this weekend. The majority of our picks and our, talking points are going to be on the Rotoballer NASCAR DFS preview show on the Rotoballer YouTube channel. So be sure you're subscribed to that so you can see what me and Drew are looking at going early into the weekend once these prices are released. But we have done a little bit of digging into it. We got an IndyCar race coming up soon, I think, in a couple of months. We've got a busy weekend. There's an F1 race this weekend, so it's going to be a big weekend for racing. But I hate it's not called the Brickyard 400 anymore. It's the Big Machine hand sanitizer.
Yeah, how fitting, right?
Big Machine vodka to Big Machine hand sanitizer. All the vodka companies are going hand sanitizer now. So we got this race. Just like a couple of guys that I looked at early without salaries being out here. Obviously, Kevin Harvick. He won this race last September, led 118 laps. Joey Logano is going to be on the pole coming into to Sunday, and he's never won at this track. But from what I'm looking at, just from seeing like Kevin Harvick looking at Kyle Busch a couple of years ago. It seems that in recent years, it's like the pole sitter out of those two guys has won. And then when Brad won back in 2018, he started in 6th and finished 1st, led all of 9 laps. So this is one of those races, like obviously I think that having the pole sitter is going to be important. And then, just kind of doing a little bit more digging and research, and we'll have the majority of that. You got any quick fire things about this race before we get going this weekend?
I think we'll be interested in Logano starting on the pole. I know Logano kind of burned some people this past week, starting like 36, and he was a lock, and very frustrating play this past week. But I'll probably be going back to the well. And then obviously you can get the rest of our plays, but there's not a big, just as a learning point, there's really not a lot that we should be giving out driver wise until we get those prices. And we got the starting grid, which is half the puzzle. Now we need the prices, and track history for Harbert looks good, like you said. I got my eyes on Clint Boyer starting 22nd as kind of a preliminary place differential play to round out your lineups if you need somebody that can move up.
And Ryan Newman seems to do pretty well at place differential at this track too. So those are two guys that we may be talking about. We'll wait and see how things shake out, and you can check those things out again at rotoballer.com. Watch our preview video over on Rotoballer. But other than that, great show. Got hung up on football, so that's a great sign. I
got one more for you. One more question.
What we got? Fire it.
We got off of Cam, but I did want to get your thoughts. So how many – does it work? First of all, I got a 3-part question. Does it work? Does he start the season as the starter, and how many games does he start? And I'll answer after you do.
I'd like to think he would, just because of how things are, because the media and the attention, they're going to want him to start. But Bill kind of does what Bill does. I really do definitely think it's going to come down to who's going to be the better play. Right now, I think that in Bill's mind, Stidham is that guy. So
really?
I would want to think so. I feel like he's been there. He's been behind. He's been wrapped up. Media-wise, yeah, everybody's going to be Cam. I personally want to see Cam, but I feel like Bill would just do shit like that to piss people off, and then maybe, start Jared and then, put in, Cam, 2 or 3 plays after. Bill seems like one of those kind of guys that would do some shit. Maybe not 2 or 3 plays after, but maybe, after a half or something, depending on how the play goes. But I know that that's going to cause a lot of media tension probably, because when you got a big name like him going. So I want to believe that Cam will start. I think that he's going to work his ass off. And so hopefully we do see that. But as of right now, I think that Bill's looking at who's been here, who's got this plan. And they really haven't been able to do much because of Corona. So I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. It's not that I don't want to make the right call. It's just that I genuinely feel like Bill is that guy. And it does feel a little more predictable for him to go with Cam than Jared.
Wait, so you think it's more predictable he goes with Cam?
It's more predictable that he goes with Cam than Jared, but I feel like Bill doesn't really always do these predictable things. I can't remember a lot of times where I've seen him do these predictable moves. So if Cam gets out there and it's looking good, like I said, I'm going to wait till I see the film. When I start seeing some film of them practicing together, like I said, I think Cam and Mohamed Sanu – almost lost my snowball. I think Cam and Mohamed Sanu have been working out. So if I start seeing some of that film and I see how he's looking, then I'll probably be like, yeah, Cam will probably be the starter. I would hope to see Cam be the starter.
Yeah, I'm torn on it. I'm actually kind of surprised to hear you think it's going to be Stidham, because I think, from what I've read on Twitter, and everyone's just assuming it's going to be Cam, and I think that's the predictable outcome. But something tells me that, I saw the odds right now out there are plus 500 or plus 450 that Jared Stidham starts, and I think that's a pretty good price to take, because this was a team-friendly contract, and we don't know if this is a kind of like a situation where they're considering, their options, and they knew that they didn't have to count this against their salary cap, and they might still believe in Stidham just as much as they did yesterday or last week, for instance.
Right.
So,
I've learned a lot about the Patriots from you, though. Because you're a Patriots fan, I've paid a little more attention and just listening to you and kind of how the history has been. So that's kind of maybe why I'm thinking the way that I'm thinking right now.
It's plus two. It was plus 250, dude. It was plus 250 to take Stidham to start, and then it got hit hard. So I don't know what people know that me and you don't. I think Stidham has a good chance to at least battle for it, but plus 500 means that he's essentially got a 20% chance to get the job, and I think it's more like 30% chance he gets the job. So we'll see.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like I said, it just really boils down to, is Cam really healthy? So we'll find that out. Yeah. I think that things will be fine, and we'll see. And the other part of your question was, how many games does he start?
Yeah, like, do you think it's going that goes into, do you think it's going to work, or do you think he's going to get injured? Because if it's old Cam, then the Patriots just got the steal of the offseason.
Yeah, I would feel like Bill would put him in and like make the game plan a little more conservative, but I don't think that Cam can play conservative. I think that Cam Newton's one of those quarterbacks where he has to kind of get in his rhythm and do his thing in order to be who he is. So I think that would basically just strip him of everything that his game is about. So and that goes more into the mental aspect and the psychology of it all. If that's going to work, he's going to either have to understand that I'm going to have to do things differently. I'm going to have to adapt to the Patriot way. It's not Cam's way. And that, I feel like that ultimately is going to be the biggest factor in if this works or if it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm a little different there. I don't really think Bill does much, or Belichick does much with the offense. I think that's going to be a McDaniels Cam thing. I know Belichick's involved and he'll oversee it, but
mainly just gameplay and personality.
Yeah, I'm worried about the personality clash a little bit, and I know me and you can't stand the way he does like his IG post and his Twitter, like with the lettering and the weird like.
He types in web dings.
Yeah. Drives me nuts. But
it's gonna be
I will say this: if he is back to his old self, Patriots are nowhere near out of this thing. Like they're right back to probably the favorites to win the AFC East. So
it's like domination continues, and then watch the Buccaneers turn to like Chip Kelly's Eagles and implode.
Yeah,
that's how it would be. I don't know. I'm enjoying the shit out of talking football, man. And I know that we would let this thing continue running. We're going to be talking a lot more football. Be sure you're subscribed to the Garage Guys Fantasy Football channel on Sleeper. If you listen to this show and you need that link, hit me up on Twitter at Garage Guy Chase. You can follow Drew at Chef Boyardeen. And again, it was amazing having Cole Pearn on. We appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed the interview. And we will be back to recap the Big Machine Vodka hand sanitizer 400.
I can't even take it seriously. I might not even play DFS.
On Monday. I know. All right, guys. That's it. Sports, party, repeat.
It's the Garage Guys. 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 It's the Garage Guys.